Good morning, besties, and welcome to another writing vlog. I am so excited just to, I don't know, be back in the rhythm of my normal work routine and writing routine, vlogging routine, everything. I had a really nice break, but it's also been nice getting back into the swing of things. So I just thought we have a little catch-up session with regards to the book whilst I am getting ready, because that seems a little bit more productive. So if you're new here and you are very confused, my name is Leané. I'm a young adult romantasy author. I'm working on a series called the Twisted Crown Trilogy. The first book came out in November of last year, and the second book, called Crown of Hearts, is coming out on the 27th of February. That being said, book 3 needs to be with my editor by the end of the week. I finished the first draft of book 3 couple of weeks ago, but this was a very rough draft, so I asked my editor for just a couple of extra days to just smooth things out a little bit, make some notes, ask for her opinion about some of the chapters and so on. So that is basically what we're working on, the first revision of book 3, which is going to be the final book in this trilogy. So I am really excited about this one. I thought I was excited for book 2 to come out and for everyone to read it, but now in hindsight I feel like book 3 might just be my favorite. I think, I don't know. Book 3 is also the longest of all the books. We have 53 chapters currently, and I actually think we are going to add more once we get into developmental edits. Right now I only have a couple of chapters left to go before my revisions are done, so that is what we are going to be working on. I honestly think that's it. Oh, also, okay, that was the updates on book 3. Book 2, like I said, it's coming out the 27th of February, so be sure to pre-order it. And the publishing company that I am working with is having like a book club read-along for the month of February in the lead up to the publication of book 2. So if you have not read If the Crown Fits, it's going to be free, I think, from the 7th till the 10th of February. I'm not sure when this video is going up, but it's going to be free on those days. So make sure that you read book 1 and then you'll be ready for book 2 by the time that it comes out. And then on the 21st of February, we're having an Instagram live Q&A, which I'm really looking forward to be able to just talk about the books and the series and everything, and just the whole journey up to this point. So be sure to tune in to that. I'm going to make some coffee. I desperately need something to drink whilst we work on this book, because like I said, we're on the final chapters of book 3. It's the big final battle scenes. Everything's built up to this point. It's quite intense, so I'm gonna need some coffee to get myself through this. So we have an exciting package, because my physical copies of If the Crown Fits have finally arrived. I cannot tell you how excited I am to actually have the physical book in my hands after all of the hard work and the many endless hours that so many people have poured into this book. I actually get to hold it in my hands. So the books arrived on Monday. Today is Wednesday, and I actually have some footage of me opening it, which I will insert here. Yes, this is what you think it is, and I've only been waiting 3 months for this. I cannot believe my copies of If the Crown Fits have finally arrived, or just a few, like the first few copies. I can always get more, but it's the first time that I'm seeing the book in person. Oh my goodness, I really can't. Like it looks nice, like on a screen or in a picture, but to actually hold this in my hand, how gorgeous are they? Oh my goodness, I actually can't. They look so nice in person. Guys, this is my book. How crazy is that? That is actually insane. So obviously I've been writing books for a couple of years, and this is not the first time I've ever seen my writing in print. But to have it published with an actual publishing, I haven't even opened it yet. I'm too freaked out about this. It is so pretty. And we have a map. Can we just take a moment to appreciate the map, the cover design, every single thing that went into this book? And it just feels so nice. Like the quality of it just feels, I'm in awe. Okay, so back to writing. I'm actually really genuinely excited about this book, or like working on this book, more than I have been in a long time. But I think it's been a long time since I've worked on something new, because I've been working on the same 2 books for the past 3 years, give or take. So it's been really fun working on book 3. Okay, so we're currently on chapter 50, which at this point is 2,446 words. I don't know if I'm going to add a lot of words, to be honest. If I remember correctly, let me just double check out of whose perspective. Yes, if I remember correctly, chapter 50 is kind of like the most important chapter in the book, or the climax of the story. So it's very vital that I get this right, but I also have to remind myself that it's just beginning stages, and that we still have many more drafts that we can make this work. I think in order to properly set the mood, I'm gonna play some fantasy battle music, and that should do it. So we've just finished chapter 50, and I think I'm quite happy with the chapter and where the draft is at this point. Obviously it still needs a lot of work, but I think as far as my brain can see the picture, this is what I can add to it at this point. And I feel like now it needs a different set of eyes to look at the story from a different perspective, which is why I'm really looking forward to my editor going through the manuscript and just kind of hearing her thoughts on it, and all of the developmental edits that we are going to be doing. Yeah, so for the book is 94,000 words, which is not that much for a fantasy, but I am an underwriter, so for me 94,000 words is the longest book I've ever written. And like I said, I think there's going to be quite a few chapters that we're still adding to the story and so forth. But overall, I am actually really surprisingly happy and satisfied with the story up to this point. So yeah, so far so good. I think I'm going to take a quick little reading break. I'm currently reading Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I hope that's the right one. I think so. Yeah, Lauren Roberts. It's the sequel to Powerless, which I read last year, and the main character is also called Kai, but it's spelled different. That Kai is spelled with a K, and obviously my Kai is spelled with a C. not that they're related to each other at all. It's not like I wrote If the Crown Fits before I read Powerless, but yeah, it's nice because I really like this Kai too. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I remember my editor saying that the cover designer for the Powerless trilogy is the same cover designer for my books, which is absolutely insane to think about. So yeah, I'm gonna continue reading that, and then I'll probably slowly have to start getting ready for work at some point. So yesterday we finished chapter 50, and book 3 has 53 chapters, which means we only have 3 chapters left to do with this book, and then we'll be done with the first revision draft of book 3. I think I mentioned yesterday that chapter 50 was quite an intense chapter. It's kind of like everything built up to that point, and now the rest of the chapters that are left are basically just more resolution chapters, like post-climax resolution chapters, you know, how all the characters are recovering from everything that happened and where their lives are going from this point on. So yeah, it shouldn't be anything too intense really. I'm just gonna go over it and see that I am happy with everything, and then we will be done with this draft of book 3, and I finally get to send it to someone, because at this point I'm the only person that has had eyes on this book and that's read it. So no one else has read it so far, and I'm actually really excited to get feedback from my editor. So something that I ended up incorporating into book 3 is this side character romance. And so I've had the idea for this side character romance for a good while now. I think probably whilst I was still busy drafting book 2, maybe even before that, I'm not sure. It's been a good while, but at that point my idea was to write kind of like a spin-off novella with this romance. And then when I started drafting or outlining book 3, I realized that this romance actually fits really well into the plot of book 3, and because book 3 is from multiple perspectives, this is actually something really fun to add into the story. And also the fact that if you take into account that book 3 is quite a heavier book than the other two, like it's not crazy like dark or anything, but it is a bit more heavy and less lighthearted than book 1 and 2. I feel like book 1 was more, you know, it's kind of fun, it's a little bit more adventure-y, it's more, and then book 2 was, I think, more focused on the relationship between Kai and Laura, and now it's like it's more the world around them and like the political intrigue and just everything with relation to their kingdom. So it's a lot more serious, and then having this side character romance just kind of pop in between all of the serious chapters, I think it creates a nice balance. But for some reason, so I'm working on chapter 51, which is just kind of like a sweet little exchange between these two side characters, and for some reason I am insanely invested into this romance. Like, even though it's not at all the main focus of the story, I don't know what it is, but every time I write like a specific line, I'm just like, you know, does that make sense? I like these two characters together. I think writing from both of their perspectives, I really enjoy them as characters. I like them as characters because they're quite, I don't know, I feel like they have quite a lot of depth to them, and just writing from their perspective is so much fun. So I really enjoy writing their chapters. I had to rant about this because I don't know what it is, it's just something about these two just really gets me. I mean, it's like, this is my own words. Like, it's not even, you know, I don't know. It gets me. Anyways, we're slowly making progress. I'm almost done with chapter 51. I'm now busy with chapter 52. And something that gets me about writing a series sometimes is that you'll briefly mention something in one of the books, and then it'll come up again randomly once in a later book, and I have to go back so many pages to try and search for that one specific thing that you mentioned literally once. So there are obviously other kingdoms on the continent that's across the sea from Everness and Norrendale, and it gets mentioned once in book 2, and it's not really relevant to the story or like the plot in any kind of way. It's just something that is mentioned about the world, but it comes up again in chapter 52, also just something that is mentioned, and I cannot for the life of me remember what those two kingdoms were called, and now I have to go and search in book 2. I have more or less an idea where in book 2. It was literally just 2 paragraphs higher than where I was looking. It's the kingdoms of Cedia and Briarstead. Yeah, it's always fun to go back and forth. But continuity is important, so gotta do what you gotta do. We're officially done. I can't believe it. It's so strange to actually be finished with this draft of the book. And honestly, I am so excited to send this out to my editor. Like I said, no one has read up to this point. It's just my eyes that have been on it, and I'm so excited to just get someone else's perspective and insight, because I feel like that always adds so much. And yeah, honestly, I'm just really excited about this book for some reason. Maybe it's because it's new and I haven't really worked on a new book in a while, because obviously I've been editing If the Crown Fits, and then I was editing Crown of Hearts, so it's been a while since I've drafted something, and I'm sure in a couple of months I'm going to be tired of editing this book. But yeah, that being said, just If the Crown Fits was so much fun. I think about it in a more like fun, nostalgic way now. And then when I wrote Crown of Hearts, I was like, oh well, this one is my favorite so far when it comes to the two of them, just because, you know, the characters are more developed, like the romance is developing, and the entire like world of that story. But now that I've written book 3, I'm like, I honestly think this one is my favorite up until this point, even though it's a bit more serious, and the stakes are a lot higher in this one. I'm not really sure what it is in particular about the story. Maybe it's just that everything, I kind of tried to make it come like full circle, if that makes sense. And I think I'm just satisfied with the way the story played out and how everything came to an end. I think I'm just really happy with the story overall, and it's really nice to be like really excited about a manuscript again. But like I said, I feel like this is gonna come back for me, because in a few months we're gonna be doing like round after round after round of edits, and I am almost 99% sure I'm going to sit here in front of a camera and be like, you guys, I am so sick and tired of this book and I never want to read it again. But for now, I'm really happy and excited about it. So I'm gonna send it to my editor. I have a bunch of notes and stuff. I feel like once she's read through it, we're definitely gonna have to schedule like a proper video call. I have so many questions that I want to ask her, just so much that I want her opinion on, and I'm actually like a little bit sad that I have to send it away now and that I can't work on it. You might be curious as to what I'm going to work on now in between the edits for this book, because obviously this is the end of the series, so it's not like I'm going to be working on the next book in the series as I've been doing for the past 5 years almost. I have to be honest, I'm not 100% sure myself. I have a couple of ideas in mind, but I haven't fully decided yet. And obviously I will keep you updated and keep you in the loop about what's gonna happen from here on out. But let's send the book to my lovely and absolutely amazing editor. Why am I so nervous to send the book? I don't know. I think it's just because I've worked really hard and I'm so scared that it's all in my head and I think it's good, but it's not actually good. But it'll be fine. It's probably gonna be fine. It's a good book. It's a good book. It is a good book. I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna send it. I hope she likes it, because if she doesn't, I will cry and end my career. Not really, but yeah. I need to calm down. I really need to calm down. Okay. We sent it. It's out of my hands. The manuscript is no longer in my hands. Yeah. Okay. Great. I'm not freaking out. I am totally going to sleep for the next few weeks and not freak out about that at all. I'm not gonna lie, there's a bit of this feeling of like, what do I do with myself now? You know what I mean? Just because I think it's, you know, the end of the trilogy, and for the past few years it's always been a thing of, oh well, I'm just gonna work on the next book in the series. And now that there is no next book, I'm like, what do I do with myself? Like, what do I do with myself? Because it's, you know, obviously I said I have some ideas for upcoming books. I've got a lot of ideas. I've got outlines. I can literally pick up my next project so easily. But there's this sense of, you know, I can't just turn the page and move on to a new book or a new series right now. Like, I'm still attached to this one. I'm not ready to let go yet, even though I'm not going to have to let go. I'm obviously still going to be editing it, but I'm just like, I'm not ready to move on yet. So I'm in this weird in-between state now of, what do I do? Anyways, what I do have to do, what I actually have to do, is get ready for work, because I still have a part-time job and I need to leave in 30 minutes and I still need to make lunch and pack my bags and stuff. So let's do that. Good morning, happy Tuesday. We've had a very productive morning so far. I got up early, went to the gym, had a really good workout, came back, had breakfast, got ready for the day, we washed our hair. It has been productive. But then I realized, since I don't currently have a writing deadline, I don't have any writing to do today, I figured we can have a very nice, chill, cozy reading morning. I wanted to make myself some coffee, but I'm kind of full from breakfast and I'm not really craving coffee right now. I'm just gonna fill up a good old water bottle because I need to get some water in my body. I dehydrate very easily in the summer. It's not great, but it's because I don't drink enough water. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna head upstairs and then I'm gonna tell you about the books that I'm currently reading. Yes, plural, as in books that I'm currently reading. I also put on my yoga pants specifically for the occasion, because is it actually a cozy day at home if you're not wearing your yoga pants? This is actually the first pair that I've ever owned in my life, and I gotta say, I might like it a little too much. They're just a little bit too comfortable, and I feel like if I didn't have my part-time job where I have to leave the house every day, I would just be living in these permanently. Like, I would permanently be living in my yoga pants. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you know, they're great. Highly recommend if you do not have a pair. Okay, let's talk books. Okay, so I'm currently reading 3 different books. Well, sort of, technically. The first one is The Age of Innocence, which is a classic. I've actually been listening to the audiobook whilst I'm working out at the gym in the mornings. You know, sometimes I wonder what people at the gym are listening to. I feel like for the most part, if I had to guess, it would just be workout music or like upbeat music, you know, to get your heart rhythm going and just motivate you to work out. But then I'm just there, you know, lifting weights whilst listening to a classic novel or an audiobook. But I mean, at least for me, it works. I love listening to an audiobook whilst working out. Not while running, probably, but whilst working out at the gym, I do enjoy it. So I'm probably, wait, let me see, because I haven't actually checked what chapter I'm on. I think I'm on chapter 7. I'm probably like 50 pages in, just over 50 pages. So that's where we are with that. Then second book I'm reading is that straight? Yeah, is on my Kindle. Also, look at the cute little Kindle stickers I put in. I really like the theme we've got going on here currently. For Christmas, I got the first book in the Boys of Tom series, which is Binding 13, and then I got really invested in that, and so I also read the second book in January, and now I've started the third book on my Kindle because it's on Kindle Unlimited, and also because the books are very big. I think most of them are over 600 pages long. It's quite uncomfortable to hold in your hand, so I'm so thankful they're on Kindle Unlimited. It just makes it so much easier to read. I'm probably only like 20 pages into book 3, so can't really say much at this point, but I'm excited to see where it goes. Then last one is Brooklyn, which I've seen this movie with Saoirse Ronan in it a couple of times. I haven't watched it in a couple of years, and I want to rewatch it because I really enjoyed it. So when I saw this at the secondhand bookstore, I was like, immediate purchase. But it's about an Irish woman who moves to Brooklyn and just her life, and obviously I love Irish writers. I love stories that take place in Ireland or about Irish people, and I also love the 1950s era and reading about that. So I'm 59 pages into that, so we're basically just at the beginning. She's not in Brooklyn yet, so if you haven't read this, I would recommend watching the movie. It was quite enjoyable. It's not very long though, it's just about 250 pages, so I feel like it should be a relatively quick read. So I think I'm going to continue reading this, and then we'll leave the other books for later. Happy Thursday. I keep feeling like it should be Friday, but it's not. It's Thursday. We've had a pretty relatively productive morning so far, but I do have some time left before I have to get ready for work, so I figured we're gonna treat ourselves with a little iced coffee and then continue reading Brooklyn, which I'm about 100-ish pages in, and at this point I don't really have any opinions. Like I said, I watched the film, so I know in what direction the story is going. It's kind of just, yeah, just relaxed reading, no expectations, nothing like that. Just enjoying the story, to be honest, which is actually kind of nice. Sometimes I properly make iced coffee, like vanilla iced coffee. I have a whole recipe. Other times I just have the pre-made vanilla ones, and today I was in the mood for this one. She did not disappoint.